Hi, and welcome back to Midwest Running. Today I want to do a review of the Diadora Gara Carbon 3. This is Diadora's race day shoe. I want to give you an idea of what changed, what's new, what are my thoughts on it. So this is a shoe that I purchased with my own money. It was $320 directly from Diadora's website. I have run in it thus far on some training runs with intervals, some track work, as well as a mile road race and an 8K road race. I can give you a good idea of what's new with this shoe, what's different with it. I have run in both the version 1 and version 2, so I know a lot about how this shoe has felt historically and what's changed with this one here. The most notable upgrades really are, I'd say they refined the fit of the upper a little bit, and we'll talk about that. So this is a matrix upper, so that's the material it's made of. It's much more durable than I think some of the other brands out there. That being said, most brands are quite durable at this point. It is breathable, despite it looking not as much so. I think it has a very good amount of surprising breathability in it. The fit through the toe box is a little bit on the snug side. It's not uncomfortably tight, but if you are somebody with wider feet, you may have some difficulties with it. So that's just something to know. And I think a lot of that has to do with them just refining over iterations of the shoe, getting this upper to fit a little bit better, a little less extra fabric. And so now I think that they've gotten it right to that limit where I don't think they want to go any more with any more reduction in it. The tongue is not gusseted. It is thin. It sits very well. It does not have any lace bite. I have no complaints about the tongue on this shoe. It's essentially the same as it's been in the last couple iterations. The padding in the heel is much more generous, I think, than some other shoes in this category. It is not excessive, but it definitely gives you an added little bit of comfort, luxury with it. I think that that is one of the highlights of this shoe, and they have not messed that up, I think. As it comes to the midsole, they're using the Anima PBX foam, which is branded PBX apparently. I think that that's a area that has been changed a little bit, whereas versions 1 and version 2 were, I think, a little bit on the softer side overall. This one does feel a little bit firmer at baseline. The other thing that they did change is the anatomy of the carbon plate inside of the shoe itself. I feel that this version of it is a little firmer. You do feel a little bit more of it compared to some other shoes from other brands. I do think that you also feel it much more in this shoe than you did in version 1 and 2. Where that really comes to fore is if you are a mid-foot or forefoot striker, you will get a lot of response to it. I think you'll get very quick movement through the stride, through the rocker itself. If you're a bit more of a heel striker, the plate itself seems to go up a little bit higher, which then puts a lot more foam underneath it. And so you end up feeling a little bit wobbly, I feel, underneath it. So when I am taking at an easier pace, I am naturally, especially at pace, a midfoot striker. But when I was trying to put a little bit more of a heel to it, just because I was getting lazy, and I also just wanted to see how it felt. I felt it was just a little bit mushy. It was not the most comfortable experience there in terms of giving me what I was hoping for with a race day product. The ride of the shoe is on the firmer side altogether. It is not the most easy on your legs. I will say that if you are somebody who the shoe otherwise works well for, if you're a midfoot striker, forefoot striker, you like that kind of prestige, so to speak, that comes with owning a shoe like this, this is a shoe that I think will take some time to adapt to. I don't think this is something you're going to throw on a Saturday and race on Sunday. I think this is a shoe you're going to have to do some good runs in just to know if it will actually work for you. I do think that at the end of my 8K, for example, I was feeling a bit more beat up in it than I would have with other shoes or even the previous iterations of this shoe. That said, I do think this is a fast shoe. It's not the fastest on the market. There are higher speed products, higher end products, I think. I do think you are paying for that Diadora name here. I don't think you're getting anything on this shoe that you wouldn't be getting at a similar price point, say, from ASICS at the Metaspeed Ray. I think the Metaspeed Ray is probably a little bit of a better shoe at this price point. I think that the most comparable shoe to this, from my experience, has been the Cielo X1 3.0 by Hoka. I do feel that as a midfoot striker just really sings as you get that going. It really responds well, but it's not one that I think punishes you if you're not the fastest runner either. But I've been comfortably able to keep that in the 6-minute mile paces without any issues. I do feel that one gives you a little bit more leg savings with the distance. So that's something with this one here that maybe it'll get better as the foam kind of works itself in. I've had that experience with Diadoras in the past, but I'm at around the 20-mile mark here now, and I'm just not feeling it at this point softening up as much as maybe the previous versions did or some of their other foams do. So we'll see as it goes along. Is this a shoe I would recommend for you? It really depends. Are you somebody who does well with Diadora Gara 1 and 2 in the past? I don't think this is a shoe that's going to bring new people into the brand. I think that this is a bigger iteration of the first two, more so than the change from 1 to 2. I think this is just a further refinement of that. This doesn't change the game, but I think it does a good job of bringing it into the next phase of their development. The plate dynamics in and of itself, it does feel a little bit snappier, but it does feel firmer, and that I think is where the limitations are going to lie for a lot of runners in this shoe. Whereas you can get a much softer experience with, again, the Hoka Cielo X1 3.0 when you compare it to this one here. So yeah, for $320, unless you're a diehard fan of Diadora, I would probably recommend maybe looking elsewhere. That being said, if you're somebody who loves Diadora, you're not going to complain about this shoe. I really enjoy it. I just feel that it also is going to take me some time to truly adapt to using it to the best of its ability. And so that's something just to kind of keep in mind. Thank you for tuning in. I know this was a little bit more of a scattered review than before. I did not write many notes this time around. I was just kind of going off the top of my head. So please let me know what your thoughts are. If you've run in this shoe, what your experience has been. If you're liking the content, just please feel free to subscribe. If you don't like the content, let me know. Shoot a comment below. I'll engage with you. I'm not going to be mean to you. So let's work together. Thank you guys. Have a great run. See you the next time.